What is going on, everybody? My name is Bearridge. Welcome back. Episode number 12 of My Path to Power. In this episode, we are going into the Weekend League and we are taking part in our very own Weekend League challenge. We are going in with a silver German team. Saying German because it's mainly German league, as in Bundesliga, plus the Silver Stars player Hani Mukhtar, who is from the MLS. We shoehorned him in to the team. The whole team is on the screen for you here. We have Azibu at right back, St. Just and Undika at centre back, Agu at left back, Zuber and Sao in the midfield. We're playing Cliver out on the right, Yabu out on the left, Mukhtar is in at cam, and we have Biebu at striker. And then we have a number of silver players on the bench. The way that this is going to work is that I am not going to use a silver goalkeeper, because having a silver goalkeeper would just mean that we concede lots of goals from outside the box, and that doesn't really showcase our ability to play with the silver players. So we don't want to be conceding silly goals like that. So we've got a good goalkeeper, and then we still have to defend with a bad defense. And the way the bench is going to work is that every single time I reach a new rank, I will be able to add a gold player to the bench of my choosing. I haven't got any rules for this week about them being Bundesliga or about them being a certain price. So this week I'm going to be trying to use players from my club. And so when I get 2 wins, I'll be able to add a gold player, 4 wins, 6, 8, 11, 14, and so on until we have a full gold bench. And I should also mention that I will only be bringing them on from the 45th minute onward. So I can't just start the game, bring on my gold player and try and win it straight like that. So I have to wait until at least the 45th minute. More often than not, I waited until about the 60th minute because I quite enjoyed actually playing with the silver players and I got quite used to just using them. So yeah, in some games they come on later. Obviously, the further up the ranking I get, the harder it will get for me. So, and we'll come up against harder opponents. So having these gold players will give us a little bit of an edge in finishing off games. But obviously we've still got to play with a mostly silver team for the majority of the game. Here in this game, this is actually our second game of Weekend League. I don't really know what happened to the first one. The way I record my games is via the share function on the PS4. So I have to press the share button and then either square or X to save it. I obviously didn't press either of those buttons because it's not in my folder. So you didn't miss much. I only lost 5-0. So that was a good start to the Weekend League. And then you can see in this game, we're already losing quite a bit. I didn't realize that my custom tactics didn't save going into this. I had set up a 4-2-3-1 like ultra defensive tactic with everyone on comeback on defense. I'd set up a 4-2-3-1 that was a little bit more balanced. A lot of people saying it's still the best formation to play with this year, so I wanted to give myself the absolute advantage I could. I set up a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. That's really good for tiki-taka and counter-attacks. So I wanted to make sure that I had a formation that I could switch to in case the 4-2-3-1 wasn't working. And then I had a 4-2-2-2 full-on gung-ho tactic. Everyone go forward. Don't worry about defense. We need to score a goal. I don't really think I used that too often, so it didn't really matter. But in these first few games, I was switching to tactics and I just wasn't realizing that I was using the wrong tactics. And it wasn't until the third game that I realized that they hadn't saved, mainly because I was being destroyed so badly. As you can see, 8-2 going on 8-3 here with a fantastic finish from Mukhtar. Yeah, we just got absolutely battered in the first 2 games, and I really thought this challenge was going to be near impossible. I'd had some success in division rivals. If you saw the last episode, you'll see how well myself and my co-op partner, I Am Clapcheck, were doing in division rivals. Very close to Division 1 with a silver team beating some pretty mega teams. So I didn't think it'd be too difficult because for the most part, you don't always come up against teams in your same rank. in division rivals because of how the ELO rating system works. It's done on how many wins/losses you have. So I figured that our opponents wouldn't be so difficult. But I obviously came up against some pretty good opponents. The first guy that I came up against and lost 5-0 to, he was so much better than me. He just controlled it. It was 4-0 at half time. He spent most of the second half messing around, to be honest, just keeping the ball, not really giving me any chances, and I just couldn't get it off him. So I just knew that in that game that was over, and we got beat. And then the 8-3 game, we had plenty of chances to score, but literally every single time we got through on goal, Werner and Mbappe were just scoring every single time, and it made it nigh on impossible to do anything about it. So yeah, it wasn't good. But we managed to pick up our first win here, a nice 5-1 victory, and now we're only one win off being able to add a gold player to our bench. So that was good. What I will say, definitely a challenge playing with these silver players, for sure. It definitely makes you have to defend in a different way than you would if you had a gold team. Last week, with the gold team, I was able to get away with certain things. You can be a little bit sloppy and just like defensively not so on it, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Whereas with the silver team, you have to really be thinking about what you're doing every single time. Well, I found the best thing that works, especially for dealing with counterattacks, is if they're running through, change your centre back and just run back. I found that St. Just and Ndicka were both fast enough and strong enough that they could outpace players such as Martial, Rashford, and outstrength them. So if I got them in the right place, I could snuff out their chances. And I was having to do that every single time. Whereas with a gold team, I think I'm a little bit more aggressive in that sense. I think if I was a little bit more passive, I could probably defend a bit better. So hopefully this is helping me to improve my defending skills overall and make me a better player. I definitely think that's working as it is so far. So yeah, it's an interesting way of playing. As you can see, we got our second win. I actually forgot to add a gold player. I was so in the moment that I just forgot to do it. So I'll add them at the end of this game. And hopefully it doesn't make too much of a difference. I will also say that in terms of defending, the best thing you can do with a team like this is be very passive. Mark the space and cut out the passing lanes. Try and mark the striker that they want to get the ball to, because if they've got a key player like Rashford or Martial up top, or Gabriel Jesus, then that's their key danger man, and that's where they'll want to play the ball. So I was finding that if I mark the space with them, it made it much harder for my opponent to score. So don't do what I've just done in that clip there and rush the centre back out and try and tackle De Bruyne. I would have done much better to try and just mark the space. So that's a good thing to do. I also recommend bringing back your CDMs to defend. If you can run them back and add an extra man into the defence, you don't mess up the shape of your back line. That definitely helps in maintaining shape. But definitely playing with the silver team is a different challenge to just playing with a gold team. And it was one that after the first 2 games I was not enjoying. But after a few more games, I was starting to really get to know these players a little bit better, know what they're capable of, and get used to them. So I'll talk a little bit about the players. First of all, I'll actually start with Neuer, the goalkeeper. Probably one of the best goalkeepers on this game for sure. As you can see here, we're changing out one of our players. I decided to go with my untradeable Salah. I know that that's probably a little bit overpowered, but he's only going to come in from the 45th minute. It's only one player on the pitch. He's still got to play with 9 other silver players, so he can't do it all himself. I still need them to either create the chance or finish the chance. So it's still a challenge at the end of the day. But back to Neuer, yeah, definitely one of the best goalkeepers on the game. Saved me quite a lot of times. In this, I'm only showing the goals. I'm not really showing any of my misses. I think it may be one miss in one of the later games. So just showing my goals and then my opponent's goals. And so you don't really get to see the chances that Neuer managed to save, but he did save me an awful lot. And definitely if I had a silver goalkeeper, I probably wouldn't have won any of the games that you can see me winning now. So he was vital for that. So if you're looking for a goalkeeper, and especially from the Bundesliga, don't look past him. Fantastic player. Yeah, definitely very good. As you can see, picked up our 4th win. We move up another rank. So we're going to add in another player. We decided to take out Klukas because I was noticing the midfield was starting to run out of stamina late in the games. And I decided to bring in Marcus Llorente. I cannot believe that he is only a K. He is a phenomenal midfielder. If you need a midfielder, especially from La Liga, again, look no further. Get him straight in your team. He is fantastic. And if you don't want him in your team, have him on your bench. Phenomenal. Definitely helped us close out some games, especially as Sal and Zuba lost their stamina. They did a lot of running around for me. Like I said, I was defending with my midfielders where I could, which means running them back a lot. And Zuba in particular was having to run forwards quite a bit as well to add support. You see that goal there, actually. This game is really frustrating. I concede that goal with some lag, and that definitely cost us in this game here. You can see we did manage to pull one back with Mukhtar, and I'll get onto him in a bit, but honestly, fantastic player. If you haven't got him, you need to do him. You need to get him. Our opponent actually mugs us off right here. Drag back's supposed to be nerfed. I don't think so. If you use them in the right place, they're definitely still good. Again, he just uses it here. Son chips Neuer, and reminds me of the old goalkeeper's got a goal, but Messi still chipped Neuer joke. Doesn't really matter what you do on this game. If your keeper comes off his line, he's getting chipped. So try not to bring your keeper off your line. Moving on to the defence, Azebu at right back, absolutely fantastic. Pace, strength, good tackling, really didn't let us down all that much. I found most of my problems were on the other side where I had Agu, who wouldn't have been my first choice left back, but I needed to get Mukhtar into the team, so I needed a German player. He definitely did a job for me. It was certainly interesting having a 3-star weak-footed, right-footed player at left back. But he definitely did a job. If you're not looking to get Mukhtar into your team, then I wouldn't recommend him. If you do want Mukhtar on your team, he will certainly play fantastically for you. And yeah, have him, he's fine. The back 2 pairing, I cannot praise enough. St. Just, we know from last year's game, especially with his Scream card last year, he is insane. His silver card is so quick and so strong, and he's fantastic. And Ndika, 6'4", not quite as quick, but he's stronger than St. Just. Saved us in the air so many times. Corners, again, deadly this year. Crossing, deadly. So if your opponent is going to be playing crosses and trying to head it in, then he is definitely a good player to have to clear those out. The midfield of Zuba and Sal, I did mention stamina was a bit of an issue. I tended to find, though, that it was only one of them that would die each game. I didn't really know which one it was. You see, I messed up here for this goal. I tried to throw it out to Sal, and it just didn't throw it far enough. And again, this is going to cost us in this game. Another mistake. So there's 2 games that we could have probably won if we'd have been a little bit more sensible. But 2 errors that cost us dearly. If you decide to go with the midfield of Sal and Zuba, then Sal, play him as the more defensive one, and you'll find that Zuba going forward as well definitely has the ability to be helpful in the final third. I wouldn't recommend shooting with either of them. I don't think I've scored any goals with them so far. So try and lay it off to one of your silver strikers if you can. But in midfield, they're absolute workhorses and they do an absolute job for sure. Cliver, I was playing him on the right-hand side. I really enjoyed him. He was pacey, had a pretty good finish, good dribbling, decent passing. Probably one of the best silver cards on the game, to be fair. Definitely recommend him. Yabu is one of those cards that looks awful, but he's actually fantastic. You see, when our 6th game, I decided to get rid of the centre-back because I just wasn't bringing him on. So I decided to bring on Depay. I actually packed him the other day in an untradeable pack, and it had De Gea and Ricardo Pereira in the same pack as well. So that was actually a phenomenal pack for us there. Helped us out massively. I think I'm going to try and use Depay next weekend because of how much fun he is to use here when I've been bringing him on. So great super sub for us to add in. Yabu is actually class. 80 pace in the lamb position. You think that that's not quick enough, but he still seemed to be beating our opponent's right backs. I don't really know how. He scored a few vital goals for us and assisted some vital goals as well. So he's a good player, but I did sub him off more often than not at half-time or after 60 minutes for Salah, just because he's not as good as Cliver or Mukhtar. Now, if you don't have Mukhtar, get him. He is so easy to unlock. It took me 1.5 games to get him, and he is just incredible. His dribbling is amazing. His pace is fantastic, but his shooting is some of the best I've seen on this game. And for a silver card as well, that is ridiculous. His across goal shots are so powerful that you can see in these clips, they just don't seem to get stopped. So if you can get him in, get him. Just get him. Even if you, as we see some absolutely terrible FIFA cheese there. This is what I'm talking about with the running the players back. I defended that correctly, only for my player to run in between the player and the ball and not get away with it. That's something that definitely needs fixing. They said that they'd fixed it for this game. They quite clearly haven't. That happens to me way too often still. Maybe not as much as last year, but too often. Back to Mukhtar and his across goal shots. Absolutely phenomenal. They go in so often. Amazing power shots. Finesse shots not so good on him. He did miss a few in the box, but he is probably the most clinical player in this team, apart from maybe some of the gold subs that we started bringing on. But even then, I'd say he's got a better finish than maybe even Depay. So yeah, fantastic from Mukhtar. Unlock him, do him, get him. Even if you don't want him in your team, have him on your bench. He will be a fantastic impact sub. And yeah, fantastic. Depay winning us that game there, actually. So that was nice. That actually got us our 8th win, which means that we are able to unlock another slot on our bench. You see, we're opening a pack here. Literally after that game, I opened a pack. I was going to bring on Ricardo Pereira until I packed Florenzi, and I decided that I had to try him out. So instead of Pereira, I put Florenzi on my bench. We whacked a shadow on him, and what I actually did was I kept bringing him on in midfield. I stopped bringing on Llorente and started bringing on Florenzi instead, and he worked fantastically for us. Oh, and now the last player in the team was Bebu. Very, very pacey, okay dribbling, amazing shooting. When he's in on goal, that is. I tended to find that he would score the harder chances as opposed to the easier chances. So when he's running in on goal and he's got a defender breathing down his neck, he would smack them across goal and score some fantastic goals. However, when he's in the box on the penalty spot and it's just the goalkeeper in front of him, he'd miss the target. So it's a bit of an odd one. Silver strikers are obviously not going to be anywhere near as good as gold ones, but he did do an absolute job for me. Very happy with him. I'd happily use him again. You can see in this game, it's 2-2. It goes to penalties. And this is the first penalty shootout that we had. Our opponent scores the first goal. We managed to score the second one with Salah. And then our opponent has a penalty with Heung-min Son. He decides to place it down the middle almost, and we dive out of the way with Neuer. Penalties are still quite difficult on this game. I still need to practice them, especially saving them. If you want to watch a good penalty tutorial, I recommend #Harry, or actually Harry Hesketh now, as he's not a part of hashtag, he's part of Fnatic. So he's very good. I need to practice the saving the penalty technique that he does, because he steps one way and then dives the other, and what that does is it covers the middle and the side of the goal you're diving to, which is something that I just haven't quite got nailed yet. So unfortunately we don't win that game on penalties. That sees us remain on 8 wins, and I believe that puts us on 5 losses. We move into game number 14. 2 more left now. We're aiming for 10 if we possibly can. That would actually leave us on target for gold 1, which would actually be better than what I got last weekend using a gold team. You can see here at the start of the half, we're dribbling with Mukhtar and doing quite a good job of it. Just running away from his player, just being patient, keeping possession of the ball, not rushing it. We rushed it a little bit there, and the pass got intercepted, got lucky to get it back. Kluivert plays in Bearridge, plays in Mukhtar, and he just scores at the near post. There is literally nothing you can do to stop this guy from scoring. He is insane. And yeah, a real lifesaver for the majority of our games. Again, just being patient, looking for the space, get it into Kluivert. Again, we beat the defender, and he goes across goal this time, right into the top corner. This is what I mean. Kluivert's got a fantastic shot. Get really unlucky there with the pass. You can see here, Yabu actually defending. We run it back, get in between the ball, and Mane just carries on as if we're not there. Literally in between the man and the ball, and we just don't exist apparently. And a nice finish at the end of the day, so that's all right. Somehow don't get the ball here with St. Just. Somehow we get slowed down, and our opponent manages to level the game up. And again, just runs through our defence. This is from the kickoff in the second half. Fantastic finish. I've got nothing wrong with the finish. I just don't think he should be getting into those positions. Maybe if I had gold players, it would be a different story. But still, even with silver players, I'm doing the basic defensive stuff correctly, and I feel like, yeah, they should not be happening. So yeah, that's a slight error from me. I tried to pass it elsewhere in the game, just tried to pass it to my right back, got intercepted. Bit silly of me, shouldn't really be trying to pass it out there. That makes it 4-3 to my opponent. We have Salah played in here. Salah cuts inside. His finesse shots are insane. That makes it 4-all. And I knew we were better than this guy. I knew that we could win this game. We were just getting really unlucky defensively. Get Depay in here on his weak foot across goal. That gives us a 5-4 lead. And then we lose the ball here at the end of the half. Mane just runs through the defence. Cross goal. I do not think Neuer needed to touch that. That gives our opponent a corner. And look at this cheese. Rashford scoring from there is ridiculous as it is. Watch Neuer. It's going straight at him. Oh, he dives out of the way. Imagine if I had a silver goalkeeper. He's one of the best goalkeepers on the game, and Neuer is still doing that sort of stuff for me. That does not help. Thankfully, in extra time, Salah gives us a 6-5 lead. Fantastic little finish on his left foot. And then Mukhtar plays in Depay. Depay in a goal. He's not missing from there. Straight across. That gives us the 7-5 lead. And then we just played very defensively to see out the game. That leaves us 9 wins and 5 losses. Go into the last game, and we come up against a very nice team. Not overly expensive, but still very nice. Got some good players in there, some fast players that will cause us some problems. And this was one of the strangest games of FIFA I've ever played. Me tackling my opponent there, that's the first touch of the ball I had in this game. You see Mukhtar's shot. We nearly scored straight from taking the ball off our opponent, and unfortunately hits the post. We have another one that I don't show here that I nearly scored, and then my opponent just kicks the ball back to his defence, back to his goalkeeper, and he scores an own goal on rage quit. And I was really confused as to why he did that. I was playing passive. He was passing it side to side, and I was just trying not to break my shape. I didn't want to push out if I didn't need to. There's no point, exposing myself when I don't need to if he's not causing me any problems. And I think he just got fed up, and in the end he just quit. So Fair enough. I didn't really want to play that game anyway. It was quite boring from what he was doing. He obviously felt the same. And yeah, so that's that. This is what our team looks like at the end of the episode. If we win the first game of the next episode, then we'll be able to add another goal player to our bench. The next episode, I'm actually going to try out a different format. I'm going to do it as a live commentary, so we can see how that goes, get a little bit more reaction for my last 15 games. So hopefully you enjoy that. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss that. This is where I'm going to end this video. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Bearridge, and I will catch you all next time.